Also, did you guys see the report, speaking of draft capital, that came out and said that the Bears could put together a package for the number one overall pick this year that's worth way more than what they than the Bryce Young package?
I didn't see that, but I mean that wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
What would it be? I mean, what use do they have for it? I think Justin Fields throughout this season has elevated his game enough to solidify his job.
Well, they said on top of that, they could get that a substantially larger package from a team that's in the top 5, which makes it even crazier. So all they got to do is move down a few slots, and they'll get a better package for the same pick, or the pick that y'all gave them. Which is just like, I mean, if you've ever seen like a fuck up like this, like I've never seen such a fuck up on so many levels that keeps continuing to show us that it was a fuck up over and over and over again. I mean, I would just.
It's only a fuck up, not to cut you off, my apologies, but I'm going to give it right back to you. But it's only a fuck up because Bryce Young looks subpar. And I'd say that he looks subpar for more than one reason. However, the only reason why it's like really a fuck up is because he looks like bullshit. Can we all agree on that on this set, or I'm off?
Unbiasedly, I mean, I would agree, because if Bryce Young looked elite and like he was really the truth, like the second coming, like he was projected to be, then the conversation's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously the conversation is a lot different because of positioning. Because if he was looking like that, then the whole shit would be completely different as a whole.
The pick would be different.
Yeah. Right. But the only reason why it's such a fuck up is because Bryce Young isn't living up to his end of the bargain, unfortunately. And niggas are, I mean, I'll get crucified for it, and it's fine, because it's a hill that I've chosen to die on for the duration of the season and for the foreseeable future. But, I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. The only reason why the deal is so fucked is because Bryce Young does not look like the Bryce Young we moved up to go get. Now, we can say, the 4th or 5th most sacked quarterback in history. That's great. I understand. We can say he has no weapon. That's great. I understand. But when you show flashes constantly, when you show damn near 2 or 3 possessions a game that you do have it, but then you just don't have what it takes to reciprocate that for the duration of an entire game, with the exception of one against Green Bay, and then you come back the following week and only go for 112, that's a problem. That's a problem. And, niggas will – I know, matter of fact, I'm not going to speak for nobody on this set, but niggas will say that it was because of pressure and it was because of this and that. All I'm going to say is on 1st and 2nd down, the Jacksonville Jaguars weren't doing nearly the damage in the pass rush game that they were doing on 3rd down. So he had 2 drives, he had 2 plays per possession to do what he needed to do, and he didn't. He just simply didn't do it. So, my stance is very clear on Bryce Young. As the season has gone on, I was hoping that it would be a lot better. It just simply hasn't been that. And I'm ready for us to build whatever the fuck we need to build for him, for Bryce sexuals to be happy enough to say that it's no longer the team around him's fault. Yet they have to look at him in the mirror, or he has to look himself in the mirror and acknowledge that he just doesn't have what it takes. That's just my stance on it right now. Now, obviously, he's a rookie, cool, but that's what it is. What would you like to say? Because I know I'm going to get aired out by you, so.
Nah, I mean, I don't think everything you said is true, obviously, but I still think, like, Bryce doesn't look like the number 1 pick. Yes, that is true, but also I think a big part of why the situation looks fucked up is also the surrounding cast. Like, I mean, I think 2 things can be true. I think that he cannot look like the number 1 pick, but he can also have bullshit weapons around it. And when there's statistics to back it up, as I just sent in a group, like Jonathan Mingo is what? What was that I sent? Like, has the worst.
Jonathan Mingo
is garbage. Oh, I'm sorry.
Has the NFL's 3rd worst catch percentage at 50.59 behind Allen Lazard and Marquise Brown.
I mean, yeah, so I feel like when you have bullshit like that, and then when you have a guy you drafted the number 8 pick, was it drafted the number 8 pick?
Number 9.
Number 9 pick. When he's on pace to give up the most sacks in the NFL this year. Like shit like that. Like
is it like it? I think it's even worse than that though. Like I think he's on pace to have one of the worst seasons, like by a offensive lineman.
I mean, I
in history.
I wouldn't be surprised. And then you made a good point the other week, or Tavian, I forgot which one, that said like, or maybe no, I don't even think it was one of y'all. It could have been, but was like that's the guy that's protecting your quarterback's blind side.
Yeah,
that's damn near the most important position on the field. Like, he's protecting your quarterback, and he continues to get fucking abused every week. Like, that shit is embarrassing. But also, in that same breath, Bryce hasn't played up to the number one pick.
Is he the one who gave up the play where Bryce got hurt?
No, I think that came from a guard.
Yeah, I was about to say.
One of the guards.
I don't really know, but them niggas was in the backfield so much.
That Jansen nigga got abused Sunday too.
Yeah,
Jansen,
yeah,
that nigga, he got.
At a certain point, it was hard to even tell where them niggas was coming from. Yeah. Like I was just like, them bitches everywhere. Yeah. So,
which is crazy because Jacksonville really hasn't even been living like that the last couple of weeks, and they just what about that's what I said though. Right before the game started, and niggas was getting on my top in the chat talking about so you think we sweet, so we think we pussy. Yeah, absolutely. Because Carolina is a fucking get-right game. Every time, for every week. If you have an ailment, take a dose of Carolina Panthers. You're going to be perked up, ready to go. Promise you're going to look like Super Bowl champion. And that's just what happened. Outside of Calvin Ridley's bitch ass who couldn't get going. Cost me a fantasy championship. Fuck you, bitch ass nigga.
Good. So I wasn't the only one that had to suffer. Misery loves company.
Well, I suffered last week, so.
Good. So nobody in this bitch won shit.
And Stephon Diggs, pussy ass, who just disappeared the last couple weeks of the season, but that's neither here nor there. And Tony Pollard, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean,
yeah. Yo, I got sold so bad. I got sold so bad by my team.
26-0. First time the Carolina Panthers have been shut out in how many years? Do you remember?
I don't know, but I know it was like the second most active streak behind Baltimore. It was like 300 and something games.
320-something games.
Yeah.
Right?
300? I thought it was like 243.
No, I think it was like 3-something. 3-something consecutive.
Producer?
342.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Good job. Finally. 342 games. The Panthers had not been shut out. That streak ended on Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, 26-0 was the final. Not to mention, it was a backup quarterback as well. So that shit is just even more pathetic. What do you have?
And I found what I was talking about with Ick. So it says the 2 sacks by Panthers left tackle Ike Ekwonu. In the first half, give him 18 on the season. I think he's giving up 18 sacks. That's insane.
Alone.
They said that's the most by any player in the NFL, regardless of position. So it wasn't left tackle, my bad. It was the worst. It's one of the worst seasons of any offensive lineman. That's fucking atrocious.
And we expect bro to play like the Green Bay game every week.
Yes. At least half of it. You can't throw for 125 yards.
I mean, if that's
it's okay.
If that's the standard, we're already fucked.
Can I read?
If that's the standard,
unfortunately, that's the standard that he set for himself this year.
No, that's the standard that,
in particular, with me.
Yeah, okay,
personally.
with you, cool. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's the standard.
That's fine.
Is a nigga gonna throw for 137 today? Yes or no? What was his line the other day on what you call
175?
Cool. That's the standard.
Well, I mean, when you have a nigga like that on the left side of you, then I mean, fuck, I'm surprised that is the standard.
19-32, 112 yards, 1 interception, sacked 6 times, which I will acknowledge. The run game had a hard time getting going. 11 rushes for Chuba Hubbard, 45 yards, which statistically really not that bad. 4.1 yards a carry. His longest run was 7 yards. So, we just couldn't maintain it simply based on the fact that we were behind the whole game.
Miles Sanders' ass.
And before
2 carries for 10 yards for Miles Sanders.
Before you get too deep, because I remember we had a conversation a couple weeks ago, or like last week it might have been, about Bryce's and his performance, right? And we were like, his performances kind of directly correlate with the amount of times he's getting sacked. So it kind of makes sense that he had one of his worst games of the season. He got sacked 6 fucking times. But how many times did he get sacked in Green Bay? And JJ came on and said the offensive line actually performed pretty good and wanted to give him their flowers. Like 3 times, 2 times, and he threw. So the nigga gets sacked 2 times and can throw for 300 yards, but then we're gonna crucify him for getting sacked 6 fucking times.
Get the ball out faster.
And Bout got stretched.
Get the ball out faster.
I mean, I saw the little bitch rolling around holding his back.
I thought he was
in
done.
the first. It was
What did I
like the
say?
first
Pull the
quarter.
nigga. Pull him. Pull him. I don't know why he went back in.
Yeah, I
don't know why he hasn't been like sidelined since week 11.
Yeah, I was like, this is what we've been waiting on all year.
Yeah, pretty much.
For
And
him
he
to
didn't
get
miss
stretched.
one play. Thielen led the
It's
team in yardage and receiving yards. Congratulations to him for eclipsing 1,000 yards at age 33, 34, whatever. Round of applause to that. I mean, damn. That is the only motherfucker we got that can help Bryce a little bit. Sad and embarrassing as hell, but shout out to Adam Thielen because he did get his 1,000 yards, and it wasn't just because he had an additional game. He got it in 16 games, just like a old regular NFL season. So, shout out to him.
Could you read the receiving stats?
6 for 38, 4 for
Adam
26.
Thielen? So it was Adam Thielen. Who was the second leading receiver on the day?
Chuba Hubbard. That shit is sad as hell. And DJ Chark, we had an in-depth conversation about him on the live. If you didn't see it, check it out on YouTube at the G2S Network and on the Instagram as well.
And we had a conversation about him during the game. Because I said the bitch got to go.
Yep, we did. And, I mean, that was damn near the conclusion that we came to on the live 2 weeks or last week. Was it not?
Yeah, I mean, people had they were just like, if there's a situation where you might have to keep DJ Chark, like, just because he's not asking for a lot of money. But I don't give a fuck what he's asking for. After what I seen Sunday, I seen DJ Chark. I seen him drop 3 in a row.
XFL.
I think that drive before the last or the other, I forgot what drive it was. Bryce threw it to that nigga 3 times.
The last or second to last drive.
Threw it to him 3 times in a row. The bitch hit him in his hands.
And he dropped every single one of them.
Every single one of them bitches. I said, yeah, he got to go.